Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are continuing with Canto 2, the Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 5, the Cause of All Causes, and verse number 4. Om Jnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, we are not able to hear you.
Can you not hear me?
Hare Krishna, I can hear.
We can hear, Prabhu.
You can hear? Yes? Okay. Many of you can hear, so Mataji, maybe you can adjust your volume. Om Jnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear, please, someone, or you can unmute and tell me. Otherwise, please consciously mute yourself. Okay, thank you. So Canto 2, the Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 5, the Cause of All Causes, verse number 4. Yad Vijnano Yad Adharo Yad Parastvam Yad Atmakaha Ekah Shrijasi Bhutani Bhuterevatma Mayaya Yad Vijnano Yad Adharo Yad Parastvam Yad Atmakaha Ekah Shrijasi Bhutani Bhuterevatma Mayaya Yad Vijnano Yad Adharo Yad Parastvam Yad Atmakaha Ekah Shrijasi Bhutani Bhuterevatma Mayaya. It's a very beautiful verse. Synonyms, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yat Vijnanaha, the source of knowledge, Yat Adharaha, under whose protection, Yat Paraha, under whose subordination, Tvam, you, Yat Atmakaha, in what capacity, Ekaha, alone, Shrijasi, you are creating, Bhutani, the living entities, Bhutai, with the help of the material elements, Eva, certainly, Atma, self, Mayaya, by potency. My dear Father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all entities with material elements by your personal energy? Purport. It was known to Sri Narad Muni that Lord Brahma attained creative energy by undergoing severe austerities. As such, he could understand that there was someone else superior to Brahmaji who invested Brahma with the power of creation. Therefore, he asked all the above questions. Discoveries of progressive scientific achievements are therefore not independent. The scientist has to attain the knowledge of a thing already existing by means of the wonderful brain made by someone else. This is Prabhupada, genius. The scientist has to attain the knowledge of a thing already existing by means of the wonderful brain made by someone else. A scientist can work with the help of such an awarded brain, but it is not possible for the scientist to create his own or a similar brain. Therefore, no one is independent in the matter of any creation, nor is such creation automatic. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhaktivedanta purports ki jai. Narayanam namaskritya naram shaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udhirayet nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. As Sukadeva Goswami says, Solang Krishista Bhagwan Vachamsi me. So, Krishna, please decorate my words, whatever I speak. So, this is a verse which is now Narad Muni is going to start asking questions. And of course, the supreme engineer, the creator, the secondary creator, Brahmaji, is going to answer all the questions where he will show that no, I am not the supreme creator, there's someone above me. Few things we can learn from here. One is the questions Narad Muni is asking. It is showing his openness. We know that Narad Muni is an exalted, wonderful personality. He is the Shakti Avesh Avatar, Bhakti Shakti. And he basically knows everything, but still he's quite openly asking questions to his father, Brahmaji. It is also showing the quality of respect. Such nice questions he's asking in a very respectful manner. My dear father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? Under whom are you working? There's inquisitiveness also here. Narad Muni is showing his inquisitiveness. Yes, I know that you are the creator, but I've also seen you meditating on someone else. And meditating for what? Maybe your creative energies. So who is that personality to whom you are praying to? So sometimes when we study scriptures on our own, we might miss out something very important. So when we study like this in a group, different devotees bring up different realizations, different reflections, and then we can understand from many different angles. There are two verses which we are going to refer to today. One is, as Prabhupada says here, that yes, discoveries of progressive scientific achievements are therefore not independent. So when we see our lives, we are living in a world where the world is moving very fast. The world is moving very fast. Whatever has happened in the last probably 200 years has happened in last 20 years. And of course, all glories to the wife of television, internet, which has of course brought revolution in people's lives, but also got its own issues. So we will see how our lives as devotees, understanding the basic fundamentals of our existence compared to what's happening here. Prabhupada says about discoveries of progressive scientific achievements. We know that over the past probably 200-300 years, the industrial revolution started. I don't know which exact order, but I'm just going to refer to the major happenings in the world. The industrial revolution happened, the discovery of rail locomotive happened. Of course, the wheel was discovered. Then the railway tracks, the railway lines were there. Then came in the medical field, the penicillin, the space discoveries happened. The computers were found, and then the internet, and then so on and so forth. So these discoveries were progressive scientific achievements. But Prabhupada says that these are not independent. Now let us go back to our own existence, our own self. So we are living, existing, and performing in a world where material discoveries are happening. So Krishna has described the hierarchy of our existence. So I'm going to please, it's a little technical. I don't know how, I want to make it very simple for you. I hope I am successful. If not, please forgive me. In the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the 42nd verse, Krishna speaks. And normally when we read this verse, we generally don't pay much attention. Indriyani paranyahur indriyabhya param manaha manastastu para buddhiryo buddhe parastasu tusaha. So Krishna is giving the hierarchy of our existence here. Krishna says the working senses are superior to dull matter. So, we have matter, the body is made of dull matter, but the working senses are superior to that. But then he says, Indriyabhya param manaha, that the mind is higher than the senses. The manaha is higher than the indriya. Manassastu parabuddhir. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. So in the hierarchy, the body is the lowest, made of matter. Then you got the working senses, then you got the mind, and then you got the intelligence. But then Krishna says, Yo buddhe parasastu saha. Says the soul is even higher than the intelligence. Now, when we understand this, this configuration, this hierarchy, it will help us to understand the modern concept of what they say IQ, EQ, and SQ. Prabhupada made a very wonderful statement. He says, science without spirituality is speculation, and spirituality without science is sentiments. I'm repeating this. Science without spirituality is speculation, and spirituality without science is sentiments. So we see that the discoveries are happening, the theories are coming up of Big Bang existence, where life comes from, this, that, and all that. But one after the other speculations are happening. This will make us happy. This will make us happy. Is actually making us happy. We will see at the end of the class, Krishna again gives a very wonderful verse in Bhagavad Gita, which we generally tend to not pay much attention. But again, it's a very important verse where Krishna says, how can you be happy? So, science without spirituality is speculation. Of course, we know the theories have come up. Theory of evolution, so many theories have come up like that. And then Prabhupada also says spirituality without science is sentiments. We know that so many people, especially in India and everywhere else, they want spirituality, but because they're not backed by scientific knowledge, it's just sentiment, feel-good factor is there. And then you just whimsically follow your own path, and then, you think that's spirituality. But Prabhupada said this, and it's common sense. Spirituality backed by science is actual spirituality. In Bhagavad Gita, in the 4th chapter, I always quote this. Krishna, the first 4 verses, Krishna speaks about the science. And Krishna speaks about the science. He says, this supreme science, this imperishable science, this ancient science. So he gives, he makes sure that we understand, Arjuna understands, when Arjuna asks about the history of this knowledge, of this Bhagavad Gita, of this science, that, Krishna makes him understand that this is a science which has existed for, eons, from time immemorial, as Prabhupada says. It's imperishable science. Not only it's imperishable, it is supreme and it's ancient. So yes, we understand that, we are living in a very fast world, but we also have this understanding. We are grounded by the knowledge given by Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially by Srila Prabhupada's purpose. So on one hand, we are existing, we understand the hierarchy. On the other hand, the world is going very fast. So then how do we connect? And this connection has to be through the scriptures. Whatever was spoken 5,000 years ago, or 50,000 years ago, or 5 million years ago by Krishna, to Sun God at Vivaswan, to Uddhavaji, to Lord Shiva as the Rudra Gita, to Arjuna as Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, all these scriptures are there. And when we understand our existence, our life, in comparison to this, we understand the hierarchy, we can actually be happier. How can we do that? So in the beginning, we had this IQ, intelligence quotient. That also didn't work very well, because people said, okay, even if we have the IQ, what about our emotions? Are we going to take care of our emotions? So then came the EQ, emotional quotient. But again, the SQ came into picture. Even emotionally, people are up and down. It's just up and down all the time, because there's no scientific basis. And because there's no scientific basis, our emotions can just, take us for a roller coaster ride. But if our emotions are aligned to the scriptures, then we understand, yes, this is the science, this is the scientific basis of my existence. If I really want to be successful in human life, this is what I've got to follow. And Prabhupada has given us the entire process, the entire formula for how to be successful. Now here, Narad Muni is speaking, is trying to find out who is the greatest. Does Brahma have any superior? I'm not going to tell you the story of, this young boy who wanted to find out, and he wanted to serve the Supreme Master. And then, he saw this person is highest. He said, can I serve you? And then ultimately, he saw more and more and more. And ultimately, he came to the conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme. So, you can probably either Google a story, or we can hear the story sometime else. This famous story, I guess everyone knows about that. So right now, we are in a stage where artificial intelligence is prominent. Everything is going according to AI, right? And if you look at some of the memes about the AI, one of the things which I was showing the AI overview, the cure for depression, AI overview came up with. Now I don't know whether it's true or no, again, because I cannot trust anything. It says the research shows that the cure for depression is to fall off over the Golden Gate Bridge. Now that's AI overview. Now, AI is, as we know, artificial intelligence, but if someone Googles the best meme on AI, it says actually incomprehensible. So we cannot, comprehend what AI is telling us. How much can we believe? So ultimately, AI, as we know, AI comes up with all the information which has been put into the computer. It is just the interaction of various symbols which have been put in the computers. What AI lacks is consciousness. As we know, we have consciousness, and we will see at the end of the class how Krishna explains us that if you want to be happy, you have to be really conscious. Many years ago when the technology started, and even now, I thought that we should have this formula in our lives. Humans must control technology, not the other way around. Right now, what's happening is technology is controlling the humans, because you see anywhere, you go to any place, everyone is on their phones. Almost everyone is on their phones. Especially young adults, teenagers, even adults, they are completely hooked onto their phones. So humans must control technology. Technology cannot control the humans. Of course, we have ethical and moral values. We have consciousness. Technology doesn't have that. When we speak of the modern scientific discoveries, as we know, discovery. What is the difference between discovery and invention? Discovery is something which Krishna has given us, and someone is just finding it out. Like, a simple example of Isaac Newton, when he saw the apple falling down, it was not that before he discovered the law of gravity, apple was going up. No, he just discovered that, yes, there's gravity, and it already existed. And our scriptures tell us that gravity comes from Ananta Shesh, from Lord Balaram. That, yes, he is the person who is holding on, millions and millions of these, you cannot even imagine how heavy these universes are. But all these universes are in their orbits because Ananta Shesh keeps them floating. Our scriptures say that. Now, are we going to believe Srimad Bhagavatam, or are we going to believe science, which is changing almost every day? Kadambakaran Swami, once he said that we have to be very careful in who we follow. Do we follow Srimad Bhagavatam, which is, eternal, which is giving us the knowledge with which we can be grounded, or we follow science, which is changing regularly, the modern science? Prabhupada was not actually against scientists per se, but he was against scientists who completely ignored the foundation of spirituality. So Kadambakaran Swami said, we have to follow Srimad Bhagavatam, because he says if we follow the science which is changing every day, he says if we follow how do you say? If you follow someone who's changing, if you follow someone who's going to be not there tomorrow, you are going to be a widow tomorrow. I cannot remember that. I had it on my tongue, but I cannot get it. So basically, when we understand that the scriptures are scientific, we should follow the scriptures. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu very nicely says, science deals with matter, spirituality deals with things that matter. Spirituality deals with things that matter. That means our soul, not the body. Science teaches you how to do things better. We know, with computers, with laptops, with phones, we can do things in a better manner. Now cars are there, driverless cars, everything, we can do things in a better manner. But spirituality teaches you how to do better things, how to understand how can we make this human life successful by being Krishna conscious, how to help others in becoming Krishna conscious. So spirituality teaches you how to do better things. So there's a difference that, yes, Bhagavad Gita, as we know, we heard the verse 342, where we know that the body is dull matter. The moment the soul leaves the body, everyone wants to get rid of the body. Working senses are higher than the body. Mind is higher than the senses because mind can control the senses. The senses demand, such and such things immediately now, but the mind says, no, this is not good. And that's why, if you see the difference between the life of a devotee and an ordinary person, you can see the devotees are generally very happy because they know this is not very good for me, even though the senses are desiring this. So let me not engage into these things. And then when they are restricting themselves from short-term sense enjoyment, in the long term, they are fairly happy. So this way we can see that by understanding the scriptures in a scientific manner, we can be happy. So discovery is something which is already existing, and we just pointed out. And invention is something which is human-made, which is a creation through experimentation. You can patent it. Discoveries, of course, you can't patent it. Now we know that Prabhupada was a firm believer in science. He himself, in a way, he was a scientist. He used to do business in chemicals, medications, like that. So one time, Prabhupada, he was meeting a person who used to own a glass factory in Kolkata. And then, that person would have given some donation, and Prabhupada was spending some time with him. And then that person, even though he was God conscious, but there was little pride in him. And so then Prabhupada started asking him questions. He says, what do you do? He says, I've got factory which makes glass. He said, very nice. And where does this glass come from? He says, yeah, we've got the factory which processes everything. And, Prabhupada said, what is the main ingredient? And that man said, the sand is the main ingredient. And he says, where does sand come from? God gives you the sand. You are not producing the sand. So Krishna has given you the sand. So you have to be understanding this consciousness that Krishna has given you the sand. We have to be grateful to the Lord. So then the question comes, yes, there on one side we have science, we have computers, and on the other hand we have consciousness. But as Prabhupada says, that we have to combine these two. Yukta Vairagya means using everything in a detached manner in Krishna service. So not that, I'm not using a laptop, I'm using a laptop, I'm using Wi-Fi, I'm using everything, but using in Krishna service. So then the question comes for us, okay, there is computer on one side, consciousness on the other side. And where does this consciousness comes from? So the verse 342 tells us, yes, Krishna gives the hierarchy that the soul means consciousness, and that is the highest in the hierarchy. We also see that All the problems which we are having, Krishna pins it down to just one item, and that item is lust. And at the end of the 3rd chapter, Krishna says, yes, lust is the all-devouring enemy of the mankind, of the living entity. And we know that lust lives on the 3 most important places in our body: mind, intelligence, and our senses. So then Krishna explains this hierarchy that Arjun, you should understand that control your senses, control the senses with your mind, with your spiritual intelligence, but ultimately the soul has to be conscious. The soul has, you have to understand that the soul is the highest, the consciousness is the highest, and use the intelligence, the mind, the senses in understanding. And then he ends the 3rd chapter very beautifully. Krishna says that you must understand that the soul, yourself, is transcendental to the material senses, mind and intelligence. And then he says, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence. By deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness. And thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy called lust. So Krishna gives us this understanding that, yes, you understand who you are, the hierarchy of your existence, where you are existing in a very fast-moving world. But then, when your understanding is there that, yes, I have to have this deliberate spiritual intelligence. We have to have this deliberate spiritual existence by which we can understand that I am living in a very fast world, but I am separate from that. And by this spiritual strength, when we have the deliberate spiritual intelligence, we get the strength from this deliberation, and then we can conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. Because as we know, even the modern discoveries which are happening are just to satisfy the senses. That everything is made to make our lives comfortable. But also at the same time, so many challenges have come across. One of the researchers, I don't know who, I think it's Keshav Swami or someone, he says, the problems which existed in 100 years ago are nothing compared to what the problems are existing now. And I think he gave an example of in the school, the 3 major problems 100 years ago were talking in the class, applying chewing gum, under the bench, and speaking against the teacher or something like that. That was the 3 major problems in school 100 years ago. Now the 3 major problems are, gun crimes, teenage pregnancy, and mental and physical abuses and assault. Now, do we think we are progressing with this progressive scientific achievements? You decide for yourself. Now, Krishna very compassionately gives us a very nice verse where we can understand, which we generally we ignore. Very beautiful verse. Chapter 2 in Bhagavad Gita, verse number 66. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya na chayuktasya bhavana na cha bhavataya bhashantir ashantasya kutah sukam. Very beautifully, Krishna says, Nasti buddhir ayuktasya, that if you don't use your buddhi, yukta means to connect. One who is not connected with Krishna can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind. So we have to engage our buddhi first, connect our buddhi with Krishna. Then we have to connect our intelligence, bhavana. Bhavana means your fixed mind, your buddhi, your intelligence, your fixed mind. So when our mind is connected to Krishna by the help of spiritual intelligence, then what happens? Nacha bhavataya shantir. If we don't do that, there is no shanti, there is no peace. And asantasya kutah sukam. If we are not peaceful, how can we be happy? So take the flip side. If we engage our mind in Krishna consciousness, if we have this deliberate spiritual intelligence and we engage our intelligence in Krishna consciousness, we will have peace, and then we have happiness, sukham. But if no, not the other way around, ashantascha kutah sukham. There's no peace and there's no happiness. Right now we see with so many scientific achievements, so much of war is happening. There's war happening almost everywhere, every part of the world. So we understand our existence as soul, and then our existence in the modern world, which is fast changing. And Narad Muni is asking these questions on our behalf, and Prabhupada is explaining us very nicely here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So if you understand the last sentence of this purport, therefore no one is independent in the matter of any creation, nor is such creation automatic. There is a person controlling everything, and that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Thank you very much. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions or any comments? Any reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the class today. It's amazing how there is space that we can bring science and spirituality at the same place, especially during Kali Yuga, because things are not becoming easier. It's always going to be more harder, and with the introduction of AI, things could get more complicated. So thank you for this class.
Yes, that's why Prabhupada says deliberate spiritual intelligence. We have to really spend time on deliberating these things. Sometimes we just, even as devotees, we just take these things for granted. But no, this is required very much. Even when we meet each other, we should speak about these things, understand. We should be open to, discussing our own selves. Many people, when they discuss, quite often the discussions are superfluous, very superficial. But if we, go into the deep discussions and understand that what Prabhupada has given us, what Krishna has given us is very valuable, it will definitely help us. Thank you. I know it's 2 minutes past 7. Those who want to leave can leave, but those who have got any questions or comments, please go ahead. Okay, Granth-Raj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. May you all have a wonderful devotional day, and Krishna willing, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is the arrival of His Holiness Jai Advaita Maharaj. This weekend we have a wonderful festival. So stay tuned for various programs. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.